Hello, everybody. We are going live again today as we round off this week. I don't know if your week has been as tough as mine, but this was a tough week. I'm certainly looking forward to the weekend. But we've got this week in supervision where we want to bring some information to you that we're hoping will be helpful. And we're going to try to lock it in 10. We'll see what happens, right? Well, the subject I want to talk about today is something that we actually talked about in my last group. We talked about a number of things in supervision this week, but something that was discussed is something that's kind of close to me because I've been experiencing this off and on and trying to find solutions for individuals that we have coming through Aspire. But the question is that how do I navigate to keep my position working for someone's private practice as an LMSW? A lot of LMSWs are having trouble being able to lock down on a job to where they can work and in positions to where they are being able to learn psychotherapy. One of my clinicians was very concerned about, one of my supervisees was very concerned about this because they were like, I literally could have gone through my whole supervision experience without getting any direct experience in psychotherapy, which is what she wants to do. And I'm encouraging everybody that you want to make that move. If you're wanting to get involved in psychotherapy, you do not want to wait until after your supervision experience to get into that. But the question is, how do I do that when most people don't want to hire, when I can't work as a 1099, and when there's so many objections to just being able to get this experience? And then a lot of times the thing is, I don't want to work for free. So what do I do? Because basically, if I go into certain positions, I remember talking to a supervisee, and I think she was getting paid like $14 or $15 an hour, and she didn't even know that wasn't the norm. And so we got her out of there. But she was working for 14, and they were trying to make like this long commitment to stay there for 4 years or something like that. Anyway, so there's limited opportunities for LMSWs. And I've been a big advocate to try to find ways that we can get more of our LMSWs into jobs that are paying well and where they can get the experience. But this continues to be very tough. As a matter of fact, maybe we have some connections in this group. I have found it very difficult, extremely difficult. Like, let me just leave it alone. Trying to get a LMSW approved for Medicaid, because Medicaid is probably the only insurance that I know that I have been able to find where you can bill for LMSW. Kind of like with Blue Cross and things like that. But what are some solutions that we can look at now? And I just want to offer a few solutions for individuals that are concerned about having to leave the job that they are at because their supervisor, the person that they're working for, is having trouble getting them clients because the clients that come to see them are always insurance clients. So one thing I want to say is that you want to look at what was the first one I wanted to turn to. So Medicaid definitely is an option, but it could take a long time to get someone credentialed for Medicaid. It seems like there are some providers, maybe the bigger providers, that are able to get people approved within 2 months. So if you are with someone and they are able to get you through for Medicaid, then that may increase the likelihood that you might be able to get clients who are insured, and that's usually the problem. Oh, this is what I want to say. This is now I'm gonna put some people on the game, and it's just how it is. We're not worried about competition, things like that, because whatever's for you is for you. And so I like to share because I want people to experience some of the success that I have had. But there's a sleeper, right? And I want to learn more about these. If you know about sleepers to help, sleepers like the one I'm going to talk about, please put it in the chat and share it, because there are a lot of LMSWs in this situation. But here's a sleeper. So if you are employing an LMSW, or you are an LMSW that is looking for work, and you enjoy working with couples and you are willing to work in person, that is a hot, hot spot. At least from my experience, it's super hot. It's a sleeper. And we found out about it by default, by accident, because what was happening is that we were full and we didn't have enough. We didn't have enough clinicians, trying to get more clinicians. And what was happening is that we specialize in relationship counseling. What happened was that once we got a in-person clinician, we started stressing that, hey, we have an in-person clinician. However, because they would come in, people with people with Blue Cross and other insurances would come in and say, hey, look, I need to get, some help with our relationships on the rocks, this and that. And we would say, look, we accept you, we could accept you, we accept your insurance, but we're full. However, we have a clinician, a pre-licensed clinician or LMSW, who is under supervision that can support you. And what we found so many times, like a high percentage of the time, people were willing to pay for a therapist, even if they weren't super experienced, and but they were in person. They were in person. So this is a big deal, having an in-person. If you're willing to do in-person work and you are looking to, and you don't mind working with couples, which is a lot. Okay, I'm not even gonna lie. I love it to death, but it's what I do, but it's a lot. Then that may be a hot spot. Okay, next one. Look at specialties. Look at specialties that people need services for that don't require insurance for the service. In other words, so there are people who are looking for support with domestic violence because they have to go through the courts and they have to get domestic violence classes and things like. I'm giving y'all the game. Get domestic violence classes and things like that. Market to that crowd, because many times that's a private pay crowd. They're not coming in for insurance, and so then you can be able to support them and by letting them be seen by an LMSW or someone that you've hired that is pre-licensed. Okay. Domestic violence, anger management. Okay, that's another one. I talked about couples. Have your person get a specialty, like I was talking about some time ago. EMDR. If you get training in EMDR, you can get training in EMDR before you are a licensed independent clinician. Okay, and so that's a catch, because EMDR is one of the modalities that people actually look for in search, and that's a marketing thing. They look for it in search. People don't primarily look for say, I'm looking for a CBT therapist. Okay, that doesn't come up often. That's if you base your marketing on that, you're going to lose. However, if you say that you offer EMDR, a lot of people are searching for EMDR therapists, whether they're the client or whether it is the actual patient, the client, or the a lot of people searching for it. I'm losing my words right now. So that's another option. Again, you can get that as an LMSW. We talked about that before. Bariatric assessment, bariatric psychological assessments. This again is another a specialty, something that I may be looking into soon, and we'll see if we can get around to it. But you can, LMSW can provide those assessments. I've checked this. Okay, they can provide these assessments without having to have a LICSW credential. All right, and so that may be a way to get them full, or for you to offer these services. Say, hey, this is something. Can you market this? This is what I can do. I work well with anger management. I work well with domestic violence. Is it possible that you can market this area for me? This is what you're asking the owner or the person that's in charge, if you're able to get to that person, communicate with that person. So we're going to kind of stop there. I think this kind of sums it up. It's a sad thing that many of us that are LMSWs that are interested in psychotherapy have those difficulties, and that you all many times have very limited options to get a job, except for the jobs that are only paying $20 an hour, and I understand, because even me personally, starting out, we start kind of lower until we can get caseload and make sure that you can hold clients and things of that nature before we start paying out, because we're not receiving a lot of payment in these areas. And a lot of times you're having to do sliding scale, but we all want to work together to try to find those things that actually work to get the LMSWs in, get them secured. And so this is something that I hope that's helpful. I'm going to wrap it up for today. We hope to see you all on next week as we get back into some of these topics. And of course, before I go, definitely want to invite you out to our social work supervisor training. We just had one this week, and it was excellent, went awesome. We had an awesome time. And we will be having another one on November 13th and November 14th. So if you're looking to be a supervisor, come check us out. All right, y'all take care. Bye-bye.